Hey guys, Nick here, and as you guys know, it's Comic-Con weekend going on right now in San Diego. And for those of you who've been watching my channel for any period of time, in the last couple weeks, if you've been listening to the DC Films podcast I've been doing on my channel these last few weeks, I was talking about going to Comic-Con. You know, I live here in San Diego, and this year I was lucky enough to get volunteer passes to go, which means that for a few hours out of each day, for a scheduled period of time, I do certain tasks that the Comic-Con crew needs me to do. And then before and after that, I have as much time as I want up until the time I'm scheduled to just be at the con and do whatever I want. So this video is going to be pretty much just recapping everything that I experienced at Comic-Con this past weekend. Right now it's about 4:15 in the afternoon on Saturday. This is my last day at Comic-Con because I'm not going tomorrow. Because I've pretty much seen everything I need to see. And today, being Saturday, I saw the Justice League cast. So that was probably the biggest highlight of the whole experience for me. So for me, there's so much I want to talk about. So I'm just getting started with what I experienced on Thursday. So Thursday was my first day, so there wasn't too much necessarily going on. My first day, my assignment, I would say, was about 12:30 in the afternoon, I believe. Thursday was fun. I mostly just walked around the exhibit hall, so there wasn't too much to experience in terms of like movie news or anything like that. I got to walk around, I got to see, some cool stuff at the DC booth. And I got to see some cool stuff, I got to see the Batmobile at Mattel's area, I think. At least that's part of the convention center where I was at. Thursday was more of just a day for me just to take a walk around the convention center, see what's going on. And that night I went over to the Fox Sports Grill, which is in the first floor of the Hilton over there. And I went to the Collider meet and greet, which is fun, for anyone who's watched me in the past. I have talked previously about, me watching the Collider stuff. And at one point I was a fan, of John Campea and his crew. And I still listen to the Collider team a lot. I'm a big fan of doing TV talks and the stuff they do. But of course, me being a DCEU fan, there was a while where I didn't really want to listen. I wasn't really a fan of theirs because of all the bashing they were doing and the constant negative press that they were pressing on the DCEU. And I'm not one of those people who says, oh, like they're paid off by Marvel or anything like that. That's dumb. But for me, I took a break from them because it was just nonstop hate. And okay, you don't like the movies. Okay, move on. Talk about the next thing. But I understand, like with new movie news, it's like superheroes are like the thing to talk about, and I get that. But sometimes it's like, okay, you can talk about the stuff without being a dick and constantly bashing us fans who enjoy these movies. So I didn't listen to them for a while. So in the last, I would say 6-7 months, I got back into listening to them. They still say certain things that annoy me, but as a fan, I'm like, they don't like it, whatever, and I just listen to them. So I went to their meet and greet, and that was fun. I got to meet Josh McCouga, Emma Fife, Sinead DeFries, Christian Harloff. That was pretty cool to me. I met him a couple of different times, so it was just cool seeing him again. And I don't know who else I met. I think that's pretty much it. I saw most of the group. When I saw Perry Nemeroff, I saw some of the people there, and that was pretty much as far as big stuff. That's all that happened to me on Thursday. I was mostly just walking around and just kind of experiencing Comic-Con since I knew I was going to be there all weekend. So there wasn't really any panels or stuff that I was going to try to go to. So the big stuff was so yesterday being Friday, I had my scheduled time to be there was for my assignment. Before I forget, one of the big things that happened on Thursday. One of the big things that happened on Thursday while I was volunteering, I was giving out bags. As I was giving out bags, Dante Basco, who played Rufio and Hook and voiced Zuko in Avatar: The Last Airbender, was like feet away from me, and unfortunately I wasn't able to take a picture. My phone was dead at the time, and also when you're volunteering, they recommend not taking pictures. They don't want you, especially because they don't want us bugging the actors, celebrities, or whatever. But it was cool seeing him nonetheless. That was a big highlight for me, at least coming out of Thursday. And then yesterday being Friday, the only panel I was really able to get into was the Young Justice panel. And like last year, I made a video about the announcement that Young Justice is coming back for a third season. And I'm super excited about that because Young Justice has been one of my favorite DC comic shows ever. In terms of DC animation, I think I prefer it over the original Justice League series. Not to say the Justice League series is bad, but I just, in terms of preference, I love Young Justice so much. And there were so many tidbits that we got at the panel yesterday. And unfortunately, none of the actors showed up, but they give us new looks at the new set of characters and some of the old characters that we see coming back. The show is taking a few years, jumping kind of like last season, except it's not going to be as drastic. It's going to be a few years, not 5 years. They're going to introduce new characters like Spoiler, Tracy 13, I think, and then Arrowette. So she's going to kind of take Artemis's place as like an archer, I believe, from what I remember from the panel. So that was cool. They got new looks like Kid Flash, Blue Beetle, Robin, Arsenal, Wonder Girl, and we got some history of like the conception of Young Justice and how the showrunners kind of came up with the idea and how they were able to pitch to Warner Brothers and Cartoon Network. So that's cool listening to them. So seeing that was cool because obviously I'm a huge fan of Young Justice, so I was happy to be there at that panel. I had to cut out of that early before my assignment. My next assignment, I didn't see any celebrities, so there's nothing more to add there. But then yesterday was pretty fun. I saw a couple different points. I saw some different people. Yesterday I did see Jeff Johns, who was one of the big heads of DC. I did get a picture with him. He didn't really see me because he was taking pictures with someone else. But I was able to see Jeff Johns for a quick second. First day I forgot to mention, I did see Bruce Timm also, who's one of the creative heads behind Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series, Justice League Unlimited, Green Lantern the Animated Series, where he wasn't necessarily involved in that one. But, Bruce Timm, is obviously a huge influence in terms of DC and where he's one of the creators of Harley Quinn, so that was pretty cool. I saw him. I didn't get to say hi or anything because I'm one of those people where if I see a celebrity walking right by me, I want to be the person to ask for a picture or autograph or anything like that. I'm trying to be respectful of people's space like that. But so it was cool seeing him. I've seen him a couple different times at Comic-Con before, where it's in a rush or something. But again, I didn't get any pictures with him. So one thing before I talk about everything that happened today, because today it's pretty much all DCEU stuff is all I want to talk about because that's all I was able to see. Today, or in the last few days, for DCEU fans, we're probably going to go into this more when we do the podcast at some point in the next few days. There have been a lot of rumors circulating about Ben Affleck being kicked out of the Batman by Warner Brothers, or him in general not wanting to be a part of it. It's again adding to the negative, perception of the DCEU in the press, and of course, for me, it's come on, guys. I know that they were purposely doing that shit because it was the day before the panel and they wanted to bring the clicks, and because it's during Comic-Con, so of course they're gonna get more attention if it's either one of the biggest stars of Comic-Con, if there's some sort of controversy or something going on with them. And then of course today, at the Justice League panel, Ben comes out and says Batman's one of the greatest roles he's ever been a part of, and he's happy to still be there, and he's thrilled to still be a part of it. So he's obviously shutting all that down, and he's like, yeah, no, there's some misconception out there, but I'm staying on as Batman, is essentially what he said. So for anyone who thinks that Ben Affleck was leaving Batman, if you still think that, I think you're just being a closed-minded person. That's just my thoughts on that. I just wanted to preface before I go into everything going on with Saturday. So on Saturday today, I volunteered earlier in the morning so I can try to get that stuff out of the way, and so I was done at about 11 a.m. I'd say. And it's funny, as I was volunteering, I saw this isn't comic book related, but I saw Debbie Derryberry. She's a voice actress, and she was the voice of Jimmy Neutron in the movie and the Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius cartoon on Nickelodeon. So that was pretty cool seeing her because I used to love Jimmy Neutron as a kid, and she also voiced some of the characters in the Netflix animated series F is for Family, which is actually a pretty funny show. My fiance Amy and I just finished the show not too long ago. I highly recommend it as a comedy. It's pretty funny. It feels like more of a comedy / drama because there's comedic elements in it. Yeah, I would say like she said, it would be more. Would be more of a drama. It's really good. I think you guys should check it out. And again, she's one of the she voices a few characters in that. And then I also saw Kevin Conroy, and I was actually in line to try to get an autograph until I realized you had to pay to get an autograph. In which case I was like, nope, never mind. But still, I was feet away from him, and as I was volunteering, I heard him yell, "I am Batman" in his Batman voice. So that was pretty cool to experience. Of course, Kevin Conroy from Batman the Animated Series and Justice League and all that stuff. One of the best voices of Batman in the history of the character. So it was cool seeing him today. So once I was done with the assignment for the day in terms of volunteering, I was, the one thing I wanted to try to do was get to the DC booth so I could see the cast of Justice League, because I knew that they were supposed to be there right around 1 o'clock. And I got there at around 11:30, and a pretty big crowd was already there. And so I stuck around there for a really long time. And then as we were there, they kind of pushed us back because they were trying to make room for the cast and the press for when Justice League came. So I was there for a good hour and a half, and unfortunately my phone dies before the panel even starts. so I wasn't able to get any like actual pictures that I took myself. One of the guys next to me was nice enough to just send me some of the pictures that he took, because I would have taken probably crappy pictures anyway. But yeah, he was nice enough to send me some pictures of the cast that from when they were there, and it was really, really cool seeing the cast, and we got to see the new trailer, which is, the trailer was phenomenal. Again, I'll go more into that once we do the podcast in a few days. And that trailer was more than what I wanted it to be. Like, they gave us Steppenwolf, they gave us teases of Superman's influence on the story, and it still very much so feels like a Zack Snyder movie, despite what the press keeps telling us, and like, oh, they're reshooting 60% of the movie because Warner Brothers has more faith in Joss Whedon, and Joss Whedon's gonna rewrite all this stuff. Again, I don't believe any of that crap. So I watched the trailer and I'm like, this is still Zack's movie. It's very much so still Zack's movie. So no matter what they say, I know it's gonna be his movie, and I don't believe any of that negative stuff that they're spewing out right now, because a lot of it's unsubstantiated, and it's like, there's like, oh, I heard from this person who said this, I heard from this person who said this. It's unreliable sources, and it's just more and more negativity, and it's like, come on, you guys just don't have anything else to write about other than fake stories about the DCEU. That's frustrating. But being there at the panel when they first showed up was awesome, and I was actually able to get Ezra Miller and Ray Fisher to wave at me. I yelled their names when they were there, and they both looked at me and they waved, so that was pretty cool. Just to be able to have like actors who portray these some of my favorite comic book characters, acknowledge me in that way. So that was really awesome. And the panel itself, it wasn't really much of a panel. They were there for a signing, and I was just there trying to see if I can get a picture. Of course, my phone died. But being there was so cool nonetheless. Just being like feet away from Ben Affleck and Gal Gadot and Jason Momoa, Ezra Miller, Ray Fisher. It was so cool seeing them all in person. It's that's been one of the things I've been wanting to do ever since the DCEU was becoming a thing. And of course, when I was younger, I used to always want to meet these actors, but like I didn't know how that would ever come to be. But for me, just today was awesome in that aspect. It was so cool seeing the trailer in person at Comic-Con, seeing some of the cast waving at me, and it was just all encompassing. There was so much that I loved about Comic-Con, and again, I'm really lucky that I was even able to go for free because I was volunteering. And I hope I'm lucky enough to go again next year. Comic-Con's always a great experience. It's a lot. It's not always the easiest thing. It's really, and also one thing that's always frustrating is that when you're surrounded by so many people, it can get really hot, and there's a lot of shoving, and it's just, there are some negative aspects to it, of course, like anything. But Comic-Con is something I'm always appreciative of, that I've been able to go, because there are so many fans around the world who can't go because of money, and they can't get tickets because they're impossible to get now. So I'm very appreciative of the fact that I'm able to go, and I'm in a situation where like I was able to go for free and volunteer. And I know a lot of people can't do that, and I hope for fans that one day you guys all get the chance to go to Comic-Con. It's an amazing experience. There are other conventions like Star Wars Celebration and stuff like that where you can really feel the atmosphere of like just being a fan, but for me, Comic-Con is that thing for me. Like, I'm a fan of Star Wars and stuff like that, but I've never been to those kinds of conventions. But Comic-Con for me is like that one outlet where like I go be myself in that aspect and just geek out and not feel like a loser talking about all this superhero stuff all the time. Because I know like people might probably get annoyed at me talking about like Superman and Batman vs Superman and stuff all the time, but it's fun being able to experience that, and I hope all of you get to experience that one day. Feel free to keep the conversation going in the comment section below. Again, keep an eye out for the DC Films podcast that's going to be coming up in the next few days, as well as any other videos I'm going to be putting up on my channel. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time, have a good one.